This is Football Daft with Stephen Purden,
midfield dynamo and average actor,
Chris Toll,
target man, suspicious character,
and
With the top end of Stevenson,
Welcome to Football Daft, the daftest Scottish football podcast around. My name's Stephen Purden and let's welcome the team. First, a man who hosted a wee house party at the weekend and invited the Rangers team round. It is Chris Toll.
Hello
Thanks
there,
for that,
gentlemen.
Chris.
You're welcome, lads. That's me. Get a few of the shiters off your books for these.
Fuck's sake, man! I didn't say Patterson. What did you invite him for? Fuck's sake!
I didn't say that. I said to one of the players, mine and bring the Patterson.
Brilliant. And now let's welcome a man who was treated to a new coffee machine for Valentine's and has rediscovered the Oak Mall Valentine's video from a few years back. And I have no idea what the fuck that is. It is Grado.
That was tremendous, man.
That was me that sent that into the group chat.
Was
Was it you? Sorry, Chris.
What?
Was it?
Stevie, I'm going to stop fucking posting in that group chat, mate.
This is Catherine. This is Catherine here. Hello to all my family. That is a superb video. But my coffee machine's good, troops. I'm loving it. I'm loving life as a barista. It's great.
I was going to say to you, mate, see when you make Stephanie a coffee, do you write her name on the side of the glass?
Mate, no, but you know what? That's what I'm doing now. I'm trying to fucking see how you do I'm trying to do like a wee acorn.
Oh, Grado, have you been teaching yourself how to do that on YouTube?
Mate, I'm a fucking horrific at it, but I'm getting a good bash because there's what YouTube videos you try to. It looks easier than what it is because it's solid. So you try to do the acorns and all that and a wee love heart.
Do you know what, Grado?
Welcome to Football Daft.
I don't know if
Sorry,
I've
boys, the
mentioned
dog has gone mental.
I don't know if I've mentioned it before, right? But I used to have a pub.
Oh, here we go.
So see,
You sure
see
you've not
on-
had a coffee shop or a sandwich shop
No,
or
but
something?
listen to me. See on Paddy's Day, right? We used to have to put the shamrock on the top of the pint of Guinness,
Aye.
right? And that is a fucking skill. So I
Oh.
can imagine what.
Listen, I mean, as soon as you say that, I'll say, John, aye. I've always known it with you, John. Honestly, it's been in my gut. You know what I mean?
I'm not. Listen, I used to work in a bar.
No, I'm not. Aye, but it's a fucking. As soon as Toll says that, I mean, see, Paddy's Day used to get the shamrock. Aye.
But come on, but John's a pure. You can imagine him in the street
Aye,
for
it's a
years
Paddy's Day.
in Edinburgh for Hogmanay and all that. Came, I mean,
Aye.
hello.
You take the high road now, take the low road.
John went,
Old acquaintance be forgotten never. You just imagine.
John,
So when
aye,
St. Patrick's
yeah.
Day comes, you can imagine him singing the calls and all
Aye.
that. Know what I mean? What's the call song again? I can't think.
Oh, they
we are so young now. We are so young.
So young, aye. Fucking Bewitched classics.
Aye.
I tell you, do you know what? We're talking about the chords. I'll give you a story I heard from a mate who used to work at Radio 1, who's a producer. So the chords around doing a session, right? And he's standing next to this guy. That's the Andrea and was it Andrea Sharon? I can't remember the name of the other one.
The brother's a bit mental, as you know.
I know, but this boy's like that to this guy next to him. He's going, look at them, eh? You know what it's going.
Oh no!
Who would you do first, mate? Who would you do first? He's like, I don't want to say anything. It's like, oh, honestly, mate, who would you shack first? Come on. Which one would you do first? And then, obviously, it turns out it was Jim Corr who was talking there.
Oh, no.
Oh my god, that's
Oh.
That's brilliant.
mean,
But I
oh,
did,
fuck
John,
off.
I can actually see like you showing us one day your ticket collections for SEC, and I can see a pure SEC
Oh,
one.
I've
2002, March the 8th, the
I've
calls. You know
got
what I mean?
them all. I've got them all, Nato. You're right. I've got all the tickets.
March the 8th, 2008, Bewitched.
Aye.
What? No fucking Bewitched. All the
But you've definitely still got your fucking.
monkeys and Kasabian and all that.
You've still got your
Ah,
Tina Part wristband. You can tell he keeps his Tina Part wristband on to fucking December and all that, doesn't he? Don't take it off.
March 12, 2010, Celtic versus Aberdeen.
Aye, I can see that.
There we go, John boy. And see at Paddy's Day, Grado. It's not the cause. It's not the cause he's singing. I've been with him.
Right. So, apart from John's love for St Patrick's Day, what else has been happening in Scottish football?
Where do we start?
Well, let's get to it. The 5 players who were caught at a house party have been revealed. Zungu, Patterson, Bassey, Mabudi and Brian Kinnear, who is an academy goalkeeper. And they're now all in self-isolation, with Stephen Gerrard says he feels very let down. Do these guys still have a future at the club? I'm fucking gutted.
Mate, devastated. But see, because I think it was rumoured that Zungu was there at first. There was this picture, and then
Christmas tree.
Where the fuck's get their Christmas tree up? Because that obviously must have been for the week.
That's what my mate said in the group chat. I told my mate said in the group chat, I said, "Wait, all this, man. The only thing that's living in my head rent free is why the fuck she still gets Christmas tree up." Oh, but I don't know. It's thin ice, man. They're on very, very thin ice. I don't know if they've got a future at the club now. And I'm gutted for young Patterson. What do you think, Cole?
I'd be a hypocrite to fucking slate them. Do you know what I mean? But I've been in this position with my team earlier in the year or earlier in the season, and the overwhelming feeling is disappointment. Really, you know, I know exactly how you're feeling.
It's kind of, how could you? And it's a sincere.
You know,
how could you, man?
With the greatest will in the world, this is a huge season for both teams. For any of them to put their whole in front of fucking what Rangers are trying to do this season it's embarrassing, to be honest with you. It's a catastrophe.
It's a fucking catastrophe. The thing is, right, imagine Nicola Sturgeon goes like, that's it.
Aye.
Pulled the plug.
Can't
take any more. How many times I need to tell you to get a house in order? Pull the plug. That young boy, especially Patterson, right? Bassey will fucking fuck off down south. Who says Patterson? But Patterson's come through the academy. He's one we look at and go, right, wee man. I love seeing a young Scottish player coming through the academy playing for us, and you want him to push half. But he's he would. How's that going to affect him? Know what I mean?
And by the way, no, even Patterson. I remember meeting the goalie that was involved in it a couple of years ago. A week, and I think we done it half time, and he was in goals.
Aye.
It was a lovely big boy, and I'm just thinking, oh, man, has he been?
Kinnear's
just come, will not get caught, and I just think, what a big mistake they've made, man. Why would you risk? And it's the disappointment with Stevie G when he's.
It's not a common name. I think he's into Joe Kinnear. Is he related to Joe Kinnear in any way?
Don't know.
Because it's not a very common name, but.
You're right.
It's or Greg Kinnear, the actor. It might be Greg Kinnear's boy.
Mental man. I know, man.
Cool,
man. Anyway, Jim Goodwin's agreed a new deal at St Mirren.
I swear to fucking God, I'm not doing this anymore. That's not
Mate, I think you should quit every show, man.
Aye, mate. You should quit.
That's an idea for the hangman. For the sitcom.
Don't cut it out, but that's good to keep the whistles going. What are they talking about? A sitcom? I like it, too. Keep it in, buffed.
And here, troops, use 2, well, use 3, use like your wrestling, didn't you? Right? Wrestling. You've been known to dabble, right? What about Darren Drysdale at the Ipswich game, the referee? Has he got a future in wrestling?
I'll tell you what, he's not got a future in football if he keeps that fucking behaviour up anyway.
I mean, it was.
Why not? The best part is the Ipswich player shat it, didn't he?
He did. That's what me and my mates are saying. The player's giving it large mouth and up. He's got you fucking saying these players shat himself, man.
And the other team have actually went like that. Right, let's get this referee away here because he's going to splatter him all over the pitch.
But it's one of the ones, right? You folk are going like that. MD that takes offence to this. Folk are getting called snowflakes, but nobody's saying that. Everybody's like, fucking get in there, man. Get in there. The amount of cheeky bastards that referees have to put up with.
Here's a fucking thing. What about VAR? Do you think that could have been used to get the ref sent off last night? Do you know what I mean? Did he make contact? Do you know what I mean? Did the Heat make contact? You know
I don't know if the Heat makes contact, Stevie, but I tell you what. See if that was in the street, he'd have just knocked that boy right out, wouldn't he?
Oh, he was even his face, man. He was like,
it was pure venom, wasn't it?
It was like Grade on the Wings a couple of years ago at Panto, you fucking talk.
Aye, Bob Shattuck, man.
I don't think I've ever seen you angry, Grado.
Oh, mate, when he's together
Fuck,
with
I
fucking
have.
Scott,
Fuck's sake,
from
man.
River City, man, he thinks he's wise, man, with his mates.
No,
gets
when
that back.
Grado's doing Panto, man, he's getting me on one hink about, man. He's fucking Mr. Angry all the time.
Aye.
Volleying things about his dressing and that.
Get
Fuck's
over it,
sake.
man. Get
Where's
over
my wig? Where's my fucking wig? How's she not doing any tight shit?
Who do you think the hardest referee in Scotland is, though?
Oh.
Oh, Bobby
Ollie
Madden.
Collin.
It's got to
Bobby
be Bobby
Madden.
Madden. It's got to be Bobby Madden.
Can I put a shout in for Douglas Ross? Because
He's a
Ooh.
linesman.
to be
He's
fair,
got a set of fucking boys on him.
he's a referee and he's a fucking Tory in Scotland. He's got to be hard
Aye.
as fuck to deal with
Mate,
that, isn't he?
Have you ever
that's
seen
true.
his? You ever seen his Facebook live video for a couple of weeks ago? And the best bits, type it into Twitter. It's hilarious, man. He gets trolled to and he's quite good at handling it, man. So he is.
Cool, mate. Right, so anyway,
Right, Toops, we'll get to our football chat on the open line. And this week we welcome a star of Panto, Radio. No, we're not talking about Grado. It is a big Hibee. It is Grant Stott. Plus, it's all on the line, player profile playoff, as Grado takes on his nemesis Craig in a rubber match. While on the big question we ask, what one SPFL player would you like to sign for your team? Here at Football Daft, we are very, very proud of our sponsors, G4 Claims, and to tell us all about it, none other than Nicole. What's happening, pal?
Hello, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
all good.
Not
in the
bad.
hood.
All good,
Good.
all good. Yes.
So,
Living the
G4
dream.
Claims,
Let us know.
what
Aye,
we
tell
can
us.
do for you guys. So, if you're involved in an accident that's not your fault, why would you claim against your own policy? Why phone your own insurance? Why jeopardise your no claims bonus that you've been gathering for X amount of years, whether it's protected or not? Your insurance policy is disturbed during the process of that claim. So until that claim is fully settled, which can take 6 to 9 months, by the way, that means that your policy is affected. So if your renewal is going to come up in between that time, you're going to be punished for that. So if you're involved in any sort of accident, phone G4 Claims first. We will make sure that if the accident is your fault and we can't help you, we'll guide you in the best possible way. If the accident's not your fault, we can provide you with a like-for-like replacement vehicle whilst your car's off the road. If your car is written off, we'll get a settlement for your car that you're happy with by an independent engineer and make sure that you're not left in any negative equity and things like that, and we'll claim it all back from the at-fault insurance. We'll get your car repaired if it's repairable at an approved body shop, either of your choice or one of ours, because we've got loads and loads of contacts and manufacturer approved body shops ready and waiting to take your job. And if you're injured in the accident, we can deal with your personal injury compensation. We do not take a percentage. All the competitors, all the big names, make sure if you're looking at any of these guys, they're taking 20-25% for your compensation. Always check that, because we don't take a percentage from your compensation, so it means that you get your full claim. So if you phone G4 Claims first, we'll be happy to help you, advise you, and of course look after you. It's G4 Claims 01698 767 172. We're on all social media platforms. Please go on and visit us. G4 Claims, not at fault claims, made easy.
Easy.
It's the Football Daft open line, the open line where you can say anything you want. Could Kilmarnock go down under Tommy Wright? What's happening with Celtic's finances, Toe? What's going on? And can you give us a tip of any good house parties about Glasgow? You might have some tips out there, let us know. Stephen's not happy with that one. As usual, we have our panel of football experts, and that is being used in the loosest fashion. It's Stephen Cavins, Graham Guidi, and Chris Delahunt. So we'll go to our first caller, shall we, gents? And it is Billy Stevenson. Billy's been on Rangers Stat before. Remember, you can sign up
Aye.
for that at patreon.com/footballdaft. And here comes Billy with his point this week.
All right, mate.
How you doing?
How you doing, mate? You alright?
Aye, I'm not too bad, guys, man. It's good to be back on again.
Ken, mate.
I
Aye.
hope you've thought about what you're going to say this time, Billy.
I have told me, I have definitely. It's regarding next season. So I'm looking at next season. It's for all you guys. After the day's news with Rangers, what do you think we need to strengthen if we're going to make another chance next year?
The locks on the players' doors. I think the Rangers, you're looking at maybe losing a few of your better players if the season that they've had, it's inevitable, to be honest with you. So, you know, Glenn Kamara looks like he could be off. Well, usually the boys are saying they think they'll get interest for him. Ryan Kent might get some interest for down south. Barisic, you know, if teams don't come in for Tavernier, I don't know what the fuck's going on, to be honest with you, because the guy's been an absolute revelation this season. So with that, you could be looking to strengthen a few positions, but with Celtic, it could be a full first team that we need. And I'm no exaggerating when I say that. I was saying this to Ryan on Celtic Daft last night. I think there's a good 10 first team regulars, maybe not like players that are playing every single week, but a good 10 first team regulars that could be in the road out. And I think Celtic have got a huge rebuilding process in their hands.
Toll, who do you want to see? Like, if I was to ask you, right, 3 or 4 players off the bat that you think need to move on, who comes into your head?
The first ones that come into my head is Ryan Christie. Lee Griffiths.
You hate Ryan Christie, Toll. You hate him.
Yeah, I do, mate.
But Toll, what winds you up is the fact that, man, he always gets the ball.
I've heard a few Celtic players saying this
every time. I've never, every game I've watched.
He seems to think that he's fucking Cristiano Ronaldo when he's no anywhere near fucking anything like Cristiano Ronaldo. His shooting is dreadful. He puts one into the net out of every, I'd say, 10 or 15 attempts. In fact, probably even more than that. And he seems to think that he's got this talent for scoring from outside the box. And it really doesn't, man. It always goes into the fucking stand. Always. I think Scott Brown, it's time for him to go. And really, among the other ones, right, Griffiths, Scott Brown, Ryan Christie, and among the other ones, I'd be quite sad to see them going. But I accept that they probably want to move on. You know, players like Edward and stuff like that will be leaving, I think. What are you laughing at, you fucking pair of dicks?
It was like you were starting. I thought you were filling up a wee bit.
Celtic, I think you'll all agree, Billy, as well. Celtic have a bigger building job to do than Rangers will have in the course season. I mean, Celtic are got a huge job to do in the course season. Rangers, I think, Grado, Stephen, Billy, I think you'll maybe, you know, Barisic, Kamara, maybe Morelos, but I mean, I think that'll be it.
I think that's the 3. Definitely.
And I think Rangers, they'll not be daft. They'll know what players teams are going to come in for, and I think they're pretty much on the ball already with replacements.
I think about recruitment wise coming in for next season.
They're thinking 2 years ahead. So I have to tap in my head. I mean, what's happening with McGregor at the end of the season? Would he, if we win a league,
I touched on that a few weeks ago, didn't he?
You know, I mean, he's apparently I heard a couple of years ago that his back was dodgy. I don't know. It's never held him back once since I've heard it. However, stop laughing at me. What's funny about that?
I thought you were just going to fill up there. I thought you were filling up.
It was like I heard he had a really bad back, but it's not held him back once.
I've seen it's no bother.
Mate, I think after the Euros, I think Kamara and Barisic might be off. I think Morelos, but he's a kind of enigma. Who's going to really?
Are Finland in the Euros?
Yes.
Are they?
What's that going to do it?
No, it's because that's who Kamara plays for, Grado. That's
why he's in the Euros.
Do you know what? For some reason, I thought you were going to say Morelos, and I was going to go.
I think they finished pretty high up. I think they maybe won the group. Finland.
They were in the playoff. Yeah.
They're through. So there you go. But that's what I think, mate. That's what I think.
There we go. Billy, thanks for coming on.
Hey, Billy. No 3:30 in the morning DMs for you again, boy.
All right, mate. No worries then.
What you been
All
sliding
right.
into Cole's DMs, bro?
Oh, sliding in.
Fucking hell,
Tap
man.
dance and
man.
everything when I'm in my bed.
Spill the beans, man. What's happening?
He was worried that he came across bad on the show, but I tell him that he never.
Oh, mate, you
Not
keep it,
at all, mate.
Oh,
Not
you're a
at
star.
Aye.
Thank you for
That's
being.
all right, mate.
All the
That's
best,
why,
Billy.
that's why
Cheers,
we,
mate.
that's why we get you
Billy.
back on, my man. All the best.
Right, cheers, guys.
Bye bye.
Yeah, Billy.
Good man. Bye.
Let's move on to our next caller, which
Kevin
is
Devine.
someone you recognise
Hey,
from
Kev.
Celtic Daft.
Hey.
Is that-
Patreon.
Ah, the
he's a
chef.
The
Chef.
chef.
Oh,
Kevin
the
the
chef.
Chef Kev.
Yeah.
Chef Divine.
What's
How are
happening?
you, Chef Divine?
What's happening, Chef Kevin?
Kevin, you're on the open line. What's your point, sir?
Right, so obviously the news of the past couple of days is the COVID things with Rangers. That's 7 players now. You know, telling me that there's not been any first team kind of regulars.
Oh,
A wee bit iffy, is it no? Do you not think?
We've been
Right,
hiding it, man. We're good at it.
That's what I'm saying,
We're
that-
every
yeah.
weekend, man.
Fucking Jim
Aye.
White tried to get Patterson out of it yesterday, didn't he?
Aye.
Oh, his bird says he was with her. Oh, did she? Aye.
Aye.
My question would be, do you think there's been a wee bit of kind of pokey pies getting dealt?
No,
I'll be honest with you, mate. I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think the Rangers would risk
Think
that.
so?
I don't think Rangers would risk that, mate.
aye.
I think that's
Oh,
more
man.
wishful thinking coming for you, Chef.
I know,
Oh,
man. Come
yeah.
on, you've let yourself down, man. Is this
No
the
one
only thing we've
voids!
got
No
to-
one voids!
Aye.
Aye, null and void it, definitely. That was just...
Oh, don't null and
start-
void. Just make a 21-point deduction.
Aye, well, that as well. That was
I
just a
think
starter question, right? That was just a wee starter
Right.
question.
Oh, I like what you did that. You're a
Yeah,
chef
aye.
and you gave us a starter. I like
Aye.
it.
Aye.
Let's move
Right,
on to the
so
main
thi-
course.
This,
Come on.
this is the main, exactly, right? So if I was to sit down and cook the 4 E's a meal, what would you want? What would you do?
This is great upgrade on
Well,
state.
what do you make? What's your speciality?
Anything, mate. I like a wee like medium rare steak with a bit of
Right,
mashed
well, hold
potatoes
on.
and
Let
that,
me ask
so
you this then.
I would go with a steak.
I see. I mean,
My medium rare
how do you
steaks
cook?
are pretty
Right,
good.
how do you cook your steak then? I'll tell you if that's what I want.
Medium rare, mate. Easy.
I
Frying
but
pan,
wait,
wee
do
bit,
you, do you,
wee bit of
hold
butter,
on,
small bit.
do you season it before you put it in the
Shut
grill?
up,
Do you
I'll
rub it
tell you.
well? Right, okay. There you go, back then. Fair enough.
A wee bit of oil.
Cunt's got above his station, isn't he?
All right, cheeky cunt today, Kev.
Listen, I'm a head chef, mate, right? So you're the sous chef.
You're a shoe, mate. You're a shoe chef.
It's
Hey, I've
'cause
got
he's
a
been
big
sitting there
abscess.
fucking- I was
No,
going
I've got a
to-
big
Mate, I was
abscess,
going to
man,
mention
mate,
that. Have you
so
got an
that's-
abscess?
It was bigger than this yesterday, man. So
Oh, get well soon, man.
I'm not deep, mate. I'm not deep. I'm not. So
I knew you were going to say that. Right, anyway.
Aye, you know I was going to say. Wee bit of oil, cook it each side for 2 minutes. Butter, garlic, wee bit of rosemary. Just keep basting. Medium rare,
Wow.
mashed potatoes, bit of veg.
You don't fucking work in Weatherspoons, do you?
No, I don't
Nah,
work.
that's a right way to do a steak with rosemary and all that and the garlic and the
Aye.
butter.
I would be
Aye.
taking that off you, mate. I'd be going for that.
Right, Christopher, what are you going for?
A piece and chips.
Brilliant.
For me, but I would because you've never cooked it for me before. I would just like to try your macaroni.
The wife
Aye.
likes it, mate, so
Right.
You know what? I would go with a curry. Do you do a curry, Kev?
I do, mate, aye. Nice wee chicken curry.
Aye, that's the one for me. A curry. Yeah.
Do you cook lamb?
I've not cooked lamb in a while, mate, but I kind of try and tend to stick to what the wife and the wains like, kind of thing, do you know what I mean? So
What do they like?
chicken and steak and things like that. I'm the only one that kind of likes fish. I do a cracking salmon as well, so.
Do you?
Oh, I like salmon.
I love
like salmon.
What about
Aye.
a fish pie? Do you do that?
No, I've not tried a fish pie yet.
I do a
no.
good fish pie. I do
Do
a good
you,
fish
John? That can
I do a very good fish pie. Yeah. So,
That's a bit.
you want any tips,
bit of
Kev?
salmon.
My wee mate.
salmon.
I will, mate, I will. And if you want any tips, you come and see me.
Definitely, mate. Will do.
Love
Will
that.
do.
Love that. Hands across the divide. Brilliant. Kev, thanks for coming on the open line.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers,
Thank
guys.
you.
Cheers,
Pal,
Kev.
speak
See
to
you
you.
after. Bye-bye.
Yes, pal.
Let's
Bye, bye,
move,
mate.
let's
You
move
say like daft next week, mate.
Let's move on to last core of the open line today, and
Love it.
it is Charlie.
How you doing, troops? I just basically want to say, me and Stephen obviously would support the famous, but with recently what's going on with these players and that, my personal point of view is they should never represent Rangers again. The only time they should play at Ibrox is against us. Now, people are saying about Nathan Patterson and that, Peel made a great point. That's the only one I'm disappointed on. What's Stephen's point on it all? And with Patterson alike?
Mate, I'm veering towards agreeing with you. Aye. I'm gutted about Patterson, but it's been there for all to see what the rules are. They're in privileged positions. They're getting paid well for it. And I know there's a lot of pressure on people being cooped up and stuff, but they are being paid to still go to their work. They're being paid very well. They know the rules. They know what's at stake with people's lives and with the club this season. So I would probably agree with you there, mate. I would say to a lot of them, you've seen the example being set with Edmondson and Jones. You've seen what happened there. You know what was at stake. You knew the rules. So see you later.
No.
Yeah.
No, of course. Definitely that. That's the only one I'm disappointed in. Nathan Patterson, academy player. And
he's not quite angry at Zungu as well, though.
Well, I'm a bit disappointed in him.
He's only on loan, Zungu. I kind of look at Zungu and go, mate, in my own honest opinion, you weren't really going to kick a ball for us again. I don't think it's a beautiful situation. Rangers have took with a loan with an option to buy. We've tried, we don't like it. See you later. And he's kind of dug his own grave with us anyway.
Boys, do you think Patterson? I mean, obviously Gerrard set the example with Jones and Edmondson. Do you think Patterson's days are numbered at Rangers?
I don't think so. I don't.
Really?
I think they've got to be, because if they're not, then you're looking at Edmondson and Jones going, well, wait a minute. One rule for one and one rule for another.
Well, it's Charlie. What would be your opinion if it turned out, and fuck it's no, but what if it turned out it was McGregor was there and Davis was there? Would you have that?
My personal opinion is, if it was Alan McGregor, Alfredo Morelos, out you go. Biggest season of we're ever going to know. And our kids, this is their season. They're going to see us lift the trophy. Now, for what they done, that could have ended our season. I mean, every screen reporters alone on season books, on taps, you're maybe £1,000, £1,200. Do you know what I mean? And you're saying to yourself, well, what's the point in this? I mean, we're help pay your wages. We're struggling, but yet you are sticking the 50 up to us.
Charlie, you're 100% right, and you know what? It broke my heart actually seeing Steven Gerrard talking about it today and saying, you know, we have let down the fans, and it's like, well, Steven Gerrard never let us down. It was the 5 players that disrespected him and done that, and I felt horrible.
Maybe Gerrard was talking about the last couple of seasons.
Well, look. If it was on the other side, there'd be sharks flying the other way.
Hey!
Charlie! Fuck, you saved us your mean Bobo.
I was just dinging him, mate.
Charlie, thanks very much for coming on the 0 Point. Really appreciate it, mate.
Cheers, Charlie.
Thanks a lot, Charlie. Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Boys. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Cheers, mate.
Football Daft's big question.
This week, we thought that we'd throw the cat amongst the pigeons and ask what one SPFL player you would like your team to sign. That's an interesting question, lads.
That's a very interesting question. Good one, John.
I'm going to wait to use answer first, I think. I'm not going first, man. I kind of think.
I'm just going to be 100% honest. As much as I don't want to say it, I'm not a dafty. I know he's a very, very, very good footballer. I would take Edward.
Right. But we know the realisticness.
No. Anyone?
Right, okay. Right, okay.
But that's boring, that.
Realisticness. Right, aye, because it's just got to be Kevin Nisbet and all that shit in it then if we do it that way. Right, okay.
I would take Edward. I think he's a very, very fine footballer.
Well, mate, you can see his different class. You watched that game on Sunday, man. He won that game for
Celtic. He lost with him now.
He's turning it on now, isn't he? He's turning it on.
Because he knows it's nearly the end of the season. He's off.
He's turning it on. He's looking for a new contract. Right, so hang mate. Do you know what? See if we're going to go that way. I was actually going to say Josh Doig for Hibs, right? I think he's a great player. But I would say Barisic. I would take Barisic. I think he's delivery.
You try to say you need a left back? I mean, that's 2 left backs you mentioned, damn it.
His fucking delivery is unbelievable. It really is. He could put a ball on a sixpence from 500 yards away.
Aye.
Beautiful.
Grado?
Right.
He's going to say someday, fucking
Duffy.
Mother...
What did you call him that played for Livingston a couple of weeks ago and he was horrific and then he ended up scoring against Celtic? EBT or EBG or something. What was his name? Number 9.
You know all about EBTs, you cunt.
I know that for you there. Jet, that's it. What's his name? Jet?
Emmanuel Thomas.
Emmanuel Thomas.
Is that what it is?
Is that going to be your answer?
I don't know. Lewis Ferguson. Yeah, that's an easy one.
There we go.
Rangers fan in that. Lewis Ferguson.
We're going to go to some of the responses that we've had over social media for the listeners who they would like to sign. George Joyce agrees with Grado. He says Lewis Ferguson for Rangers. He's a blue nose. He's got aggression. He's a goal threat and potential.
That's what I was thinking, man.
Sean Ferrier says Nisbet for Rangers. I like Nisbet.
Aye. Stitcho Bob says Benjamin Seacrest from United would be better than Barkas or Bain.
We've got Chris here. He says
we know, mate. We know your name, mate.
Campbell from Motherwell, very talented young man, bright future ahead of him. Could do a job if we sell Kamara in the summer.
Yeah, it's a good player. Stuart says, I would like to see Shankland at Livingston.
He started turning on again, isn't he? I would pick him then, actually. I was surprised we never just went for him anyway, but I mean, well, not that I wasn't surprised, but I don't know, man. He's up there for me. Anyway, Roberto says probably gets slaughtered, but on his game and when he's interested, I like Edouard. Think him in the current Rangers team would be phenomenal up top with our other attacking players. Good point, Roberto.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Fraser says, think like most supporters, it would have to be Edward. He would do a job at any team, and I would love him at St Johnstone.
Barry is going down the same road as Chris Toll. He would like Josh Doig from Hibs. He has the potential to replace Borna Barisic in the future.
Callum has an alternative view. He says he would love to have Ryan Jack at Dundee United.
Dream on, Callum.
David Kerr says Shane Duffy since he's a Rangers legend.
And PR92 rounds up this little section beautifully because out of all this, the correct answer is Jerry Pellini.
Jerry!
Beautiful.
Geese ago! Jerry! Geese ago!
We don't want 6! We want 7!
Big Mixu!
Big Mix! Couple of weeks ago, I done something that I haven't done probably in about a year. I had a wet shave.
Oh, right.
I had a wet shave, mate. A wet shave. Did you know what I used?
Let me guess. Harry's.
I used Harry's, mate. I used Harry's. It was beautiful.
Listen, mate, if you are going to be shaving yourself, you want to be using Harry's. Look at my growth. I've got about a 3-week growth here. Still bum fluff. But the reason why is because I love shaving myself with Harry's. The foam, the clean blade, the interrogator, the foam shave gel, the texturized grip of the razor in my horn. And what I think what makes it extra special is it's Jeff and Andy. Apparently the owners of Harry's, Jeff and Andy, are just a couple of fellas, two ordinary guys, weren't they? And, they were fed up with overpriced razors and they started Harry's to fix shaving. So I've got a lot of respect for Jeff and Andy. Because they knew, Harry's knew that there was only one way to ensure quality, Bob. I don't know if you know this. They bought their own factory. Guts.
Aye.
And they didn't take any profit. And that's why Harry's offers great quality products. And I'm telling you right now, it's a very, very, very fair price, you know?
It was the best shave I've ever had in my life. Best shave I've ever had.
I mean, they're amazing quality blades. Are almost half the price of the leading 5 blade brands. The trial set that they send you, which we've been sent, it's got everything you need for a close, comfortable shave. It's so smooth. The weighted ergonomic handle, the 5 precision engineered blades with a lubricating strip and trimmer blade, and all of that rich lathering shave gel, which I often mention. And not only that, you've got your travel blade cover just in case you're on the move. So get started shaving with Harry's today, and you can claim your trial set and get this only $4.95. And you're supporting this podcast if you get this trial set, which includes that razor handle, the 5-blade cartridge, the foam gel, and the travel blade cover in case you're on the bounce. You can go to harrys.com/daft right now. That's harrys.com/daft.
It's time for the player profile playoff with piesports.com. Remember, if you're looking for pies, they can deliver them to your door and give you the taste of the football. Scotch steak and gravy, macaroni, they're all up there. And check out this one they've got now, Mr. Singh's chicken and bala pies.
Oh,
yeah,
What is bala?
What's that?
What is bala?
I don't know, Christopher. I don't know. Ambala pies. It's Mr. Singh's signature dish in a pie.
Oh, right. Okay.
It's a chicken curry pie.
It's a chicken curry pie, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
come on.
So it'll be an absolute belter. So you can get them delivered to your door. You can do that by hitting up their website, piesports.com, or you can call their SOS hotline. That is 0141 739 9999. 0141 739 9999. They deliver to a bunch of postcodes free of charge. Just got to check the website for the details on that, and you can get them Friday or Saturday delivered for the weekend's games. Job is a good one. So usually we'll pick someone at random to come on and play. But last week on the show we decided there had to be a rubber match. Craig, who's been on a couple of times before, managed to tie up with Grado at 1-1, so we thought there needs to be a rubber match here. So we thought we'd bring Craig back on to play. How you doing, Craig?
Very well, thanks.
He's staring me out.
We's Hulk Hogan jumper on.
Aye, we Hulk Hogan. He's staring me out, man, playing mind games.
The only wrestler more famous than the guy that he's playing against.
There you go. So are you ready for this, Craig? You've been psyching yourself up all week for this.
I've been like Roddy Piper at Alcatraz before Starrcade '97.
Stephen will tell you all about that. He knows the wrestling.
Aye, man. What did you think of that? What did you think of Starrcade '97, Bob?
You know, Sam, it doesn't get spoken about enough.
I think it was actually Starrcade '96.
Aye, 96.
Aye, what will tell you, man?
That's how no cunt talks about 97.
So, boys, you know how the game works. I'm going to read out a player, you buzz in, you get it right, you get a point, first to 2 wins. If you do buzz in, however, you rule yourself out the rest of the clue. Craig, what's your buzzer going to be this week?
We'll go back to the tried and tested Jack.
Right, okay. And Grado, what you got for us?
Zungu.
Right, okay.
Topical.
I like it, Grado. Right, boys, here's the season we're going back to this week. 2012-2013. Grado, were you deep into wrestling?
That was the British wrestler year. This was me getting independent bookings.
Oh, no.
Rangers, this is not a good one for me, mate.
Not a good season for Rangers. Obviously, they were playing in League Two this season. Celtic won the double, and St Mirren under Danny Lennon won the League Cup in this season. So
the later on it is, the harder for me. I think these things. I don't know.
Right. Okay. Well, you know how the game works, boys. I'm going to start with the first player. First to 2 wins. Everything is at stake here. Right. You ready? Here's the first player. This was to be this player's last season at Celtic. He joined the club from Derry City in 2000.
Zungu!
Zach!
Grado.
Paddy McCourt.
1-0.
Yes.
Grado.
What a start.
This could be it. It's all right. Come on, Craig. You can get back into this for the decider. Right. This was to be the debut season for this exciting Scottish attacking midfielder at Dundee United.
Jack.
Craig.
Gary Mackay-Steven.
You fucked it! I'll continue. Sorry, Craig.
You fucked it! It almost looks as if you're raging at him for that.
Sorry, I'll continue with the clue.
I'll not get this.
You will.
On the 24th of January 2013, he signed an extension to his contract. He went at the club until January 2016. He made his first start against St Johnstone at McDermott Park and marked the occasion with his first senior goal to open the game, which ended 1-1. Now the big clue. He moved to Sporting Lisbon in 2014.
Nah.
He continues to play in Portugal with Faraday.
I don't know that.
Oh no!
I don't know that.
Rangers were linked. I can't see it. Rangers
Oh, don't give any clues.
Nah, I mean, we're always linked with him. Did it does good at Dundee United? I just kind of fucking think. It can't be. Nah, it's no good, Willie. It's no him, so
Right,
he went in
okay,
south. That's
fun,
the
okay.
thing I think.
Ryan Gold.
Ryan Gold. Well,
Nah, I would never have got that. Would never have got it.
Do you know what? I couldn't remember his name either.
Right,
Would
here
never
we
have got
go. Here we go. Quickest in here, boys. This battling midfielder rejoined Hibs after being freed by Middlesbrough in the January.
Zungu!
Craig was in first.
He was.
Kevin Thompson.
Oh, it's Kevin Thompson! This is the decider. 1-1.
Go on, I love you like this, man.
Here we go.
Kevin Thompson!
Right, you ready? This was to be this striker's last season at Motherwell after he joined from St Mirren. This player got his first goal at Fir Park, where he opened the scoring in a 1-1 draw against former club St Mirren with a well-placed goal into the corner with his weaker foot. He scored frequently during the 2012-2013 season, becoming the top Motherwell goal scorer in a season since the Second World War. He ended the season with 26 league. Craig?
Michael Higdon?
No, I would never got that.
Correct. Well done. What a comeback that was.
Oh, wow, man. That was brilliant.
Congratulations, Craig. You have won the pride of...
Well done, Craig, mate.
Well done, Craig.
Well done, man. Better man won. Better man won.
I loved it when you got that Ryan. You fucked it!
Well, Stephen, you're a classically trained thespian, so you know it's all about the act.
That's
exactly. Beautifully put there. Beautifully put.
Well done, mate. You had me, man. That's fucking...
You've got the pies.
Cheers.
I would never go.
All the best, mate. Thanks a lot, bud. Take care.
Take it easy.
See you later, mate. All the best.
Stay safe. Bye-bye.
Stay safe. Bye-bye.
Right, lads, so once again, let me tell you about Final Runner. It's the official last person standing game in the UK. Just in case you aren't sure what that is, basically, you go up against a host of other players who all put money into a pot. You then pick a team for the set of football Premiership fixtures, and that team just has to win for you to go through to the next round of fixtures. The only one rule is you cannot pick the same team twice. You then keep going until the last person is standing and they get the pot. They scoop the dough. They get the cash. Obviously, the more entries you get, the higher prizes that you can win. So you want to get all your mates involved with banter and, of course, the bragging rights. Obviously, the more entries that you get, the higher prizes you can win. So you want to get all your mates involved for the banter and, of course, the bragging rights. And they have 2 games that you can get stuck into. The first one is called Official Last Person Standing. It's a £5 to enter, and entries by midday on Saturday, the 20th of February count. The second comp is called Have a Word, which starts the following Saturday, and that one's a £10 to enter, so it'll create a bigger pot for you and your pals. And we've got a special football daft offer as well. If you enter both competitions, the guys at Final Runner will email you a free entry promo for another competition at a later date. For all the details and how to get involved, head to finalrunner.com and you can set up an official last person standing game or get involved in their Have a Word game. So make sure you follow them on social media at finalrunner.com. So get involved now at finalrunner.com.
Let's welcome a man of many, many, many talents. He is a star of radio, a star of Outlander, and star of Weems Bay 902-101. He's a massive Hibee. It's Grant Stott. How are we doing, Grant?
I am very well, boys. I'm honoured, thrilled to be asked to be on this iconic bit of audio with you.
Yes, we're getting there, and we want to point out how good you actually sound. Listen to that. Say a sentence, Grant. Just say something.
Available for voiceover.
I mean, listen to that.
Do you know what? We were saying kind of fair, man. I mean, it's quite embarrassing that the guest has got better audio and better sound quality than the actual guys hosting the podcast. And I'm quite ashamed of myself, yours boys.
I say redneck.
I don't give a fuck.
And that was Mr. Chris Toll sitting on the fence as usual.
I merely have it because it's all part of my business. It's what I do. I record audio at home, and therefore I need to have wonderful sounding microphones and a mixing desk, which is what I say to my wife as well when the packages arrive.
So, Grant, so what are you actually doing now in terms of like what are you having to do for lockdown? I know you've got your own wee studio built up, but what is like your daily routine now?
Well, I'm on a holiday now. I've had 2 weeks off, which is actually the longest break I've had since last February. February, went to Tenerife just before lockdown, had a wee bit of a breather. Lockdown kicked in, and I've worked every week since. So, I mean, I've been fortunate from that point of view, but I've not had, the experience of being stuck at home, not able to go out. I've had things to do and places to go with the work. I've got the afternoon show on a Wednesday and Thursday on Radio Scotland. So I do that from the Edinburgh studio here. Originally, I did it from home for about 8 weeks and then moved back in the studio when the BBC got all COVID friendly, if you like. And I do my Friday night vinyl show from Glasgow. So I get to drive to Glasgow to do the show from there because that's the only studio that I've got 2 turntables in it. So I have to go to Glasgow to do that through there.
So what you're telling me is you've spent about $4,000 on microphones when you could have bought a pair of turntables.
Shut up.
You're just grassing him up there, Tom. John, you'll need to edit that. John, in case his missus listens to Football Daft, you'll need to edit that.
I mean, I've been working from home. I did a series of podcasts for Visit Scotland over the summer last year, and bits and bobs like that. But you need to. That's what's happening. Everyone's adjusted that way. Everyone on this conversation right now has all of a sudden had to be able to get audio and tech savvy at the flick of a switch. So it's that.
You thought we would have got a bit audio and tech savvy until we heard you today, Grant. You know what I mean? So I'm just kind of. I'm looking at producer John and he's shaking his head now and all looking at us. You know what I mean? But I bought a beer machine.
Aye, I've had a coffee machine. I bought a coffee machine.
I've got a new Hoover.
You chalk into them though. Can you chalk into them?
Sometimes after a few of the beers at the beer machine, I'm telling you.
Give me another one. Give me another one.
Oh, but Grant, obviously you're a big fan of the old cabbage and ribs. Am I right?
Yes. And it was one of those family traditions. There was no really an option. My granddad was born literally across the bridge, Easter Road, and he went to school, which is now part of the Easter Road grounds. That was his school. So when my dad was born, although my dad was born in Dalry, in Gorgie.
Right.
He was brought up there, but my granddad, his dad, took him Easter Road, so he became a Hibs fan. But that was back in the days, I'm sure. Your dads will all sort of say the same thing. It was back in the day where home and away, you went to one ground, you went to the other ground, they went to one ground, they went to the other ground, and that's what my dad did. He went to Hibs and Hearts home every week instead of travelling away. But there was no other option in my house. It was only ever going to be Hibs, and I was a late developer. I didn't start actually going to matches until about 30 years ago, about 1990, and it kind of became so I could spend a bit of time with my dad. It was one of those because I moved out of the house. I was working, and it just became one of these. My brother was way down in London at this point, and my dad would say, "Well, I'm just going to," and he was going to the game on his own. So I went, "Well, I'll go with you." And he was like,
Aye.
So, and that's how it started, and I very quickly got right into it, and then. So 30 years on, we kind of go now, but I've got him. He's all set up and watching at home. But it's all through my dad. It's all about, and it was an excuse to go out with him and spend a bit of time with him, and that's for me has been the lovely thing, and being able to share that with him. I'm so glad I did that. I mean, obviously I love the football as well, but that's the key.
Aye, definitely. I get that. The memories for your dad. That's what my wee boy's starting to. Aye, it is. My wee boy's starting to take an interest in it now. He's only 5, but still sitting on the couch match day with my wee boy and stuff. And I remember doing that with my dad. So you remember the kind of things.
I feel as if the only connection that I've really got with my dad is football. It's a graft to talk about anything else. I mean, folk can die, whatever. It's just a matter of, did you see what do you think about the Fitman Saturday? There's nothing else to talk about with my dad. Nothing.
I can almost time my calls because my dad, whatever, if Hibs are playing midweek or on a Saturday or whatever, you can wait. The final whistle's gone. Okay, then, hang on. That's the phone. Yeah. Because he watches it, and because we're not there together, let's have a wee chat about what went on in the game today. It is that.
It's like my father. We do another podcast called Rangers Daft, where we just talk about Rangers, and I was like, "Troops, I need to take this phone call," and it was my dad. And you could hear him just going, "Who's the players? Who's the players involved in the COVID? Who are they? Do you know?
Who's at the party the weekend?" I love it because I spent a bit of time working at Hibs on match days, and so I was, I used to host the corporate lounges. So my fee was effectively gonna carry my dad over the turnstile. So I would bring my dad in, and he would then got to sit with Pat Stanton and Laurie Riley and Joe Baker, who was his favourite player of all time. And my dad was just like a wee laddie. He was just like a wee laddie again.
You know what? That's a huge thing as well. That's a huge thing for you being able to give him that.
Absolutely right. That's exactly what it is. Because that's a no-brainer for me. All I got to do is stand up, talk, piss into a microphone.
It's kind of like Grado will tell you, like, my boy's a huge wrestling fan, so the fact that I'm involved in the wrestling as well, like, whenever any of the companies that I work for bring in a big name for overseas, I would say, like, I would speak to the promoter and say, listen, is it all right if I bring the boy in just to meet the wrestler and stuff like that? And some of the guys that he's managed to meet, and he's going to carry that memory on for the rest of his life as well. So the fact that you're able to give your dad that opportunity to meet his heroes it's good, isn't it? It's a great feeling.
It's a difficult feeling to try and describe, but it's my dad got so friendly with Laurie Riley, who's one of the greatest Hibs players ever. Laurie Riley would say, "All right, Feather." He'd call my dad Feather. Although Laurie Riley was about 10 years older than my dad. He would call him Feather. And that to me, and my dad's like going, "Laurie Riley just called me."
It's like, but I remember I get invited into the Blue Room at Ibrox for a game, and I thought, right, I'm going to take my dad. I took my bud the last time. I thought my dad would love this, and I took him. We got all suited and booted. We're in the Blue Room. The chairman's there. His hero John Gregg's there. Everybody, and he just pulled me aside and went, "Do not introduce me to anybody in here." He was that fear. I was like, "Dad, you need to say hello to somebody." But what he didn't tell me is 2 minutes before that we were playing Killie that night, and he went up to the Killie board of directors and the chairman. He didn't know they were the Killie, and he was going, "I think we'll take goals off Kilmarnock tonight with these Hink boys." We're Kilmarnock, and he went. His father just collapsed. And he just hid in a wee corner and went, "Do not. This is bad." He was affronted.
Dads can say beautiful things at entirely wrong times.
Aye. That's what it's all
But
about.
you do. I mean, you'll be the same, Grado. Like, I get like that, but when I meet the players as well, like, I still get total. So I was saying the last time I was there, when I was talking to Walter Smith, there was a wee buffet on, and everybody, I'm with my brother-in-law, and we're getting just the food. It's like Indian food, so we'll get a bit of chicken tikka and a bit of sauce, and there's poppadoms, there's naan breads, but you're standing with the plate. I picked the poppadoms, but my brother-in-law's talking to Walter Smith. He's really relaxed and all that, and I'm like, aye. All I'm thinking is 9-0 legend looking back, blah, 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 blah. But my poppadom's breaking in my hand, and all the crumbs are falling on the carpet. And I'm standing there and I'm trying to like kick the crumbs away while I'm talking to Walter Smith, and I'm like shaking like a shiting dog. Do you know what I mean?
Mate, that's exactly similar. I remember Walter Smith came it was at the end of the game, and he was coming through, and he was kind of leaving the stadium, and he kind of spotted me, and I went, "Hiya." And all that way, I need to say something. I went, "How's Ethel?" Kenny's wife. And everybody went silent, and he just kind of looked at me and went, "She's fine." What?
When McLeish was the manager at Hibs, he was an old pal again of Andy Gray's, right? And Andy and I were out for a few bevies in town one night, and we went to this pub in Newington down the road, and who's through the back having a meal but Alec McLeish and his wife. And I'm going, "Who's the Hibs manager through there?" And Andy's going, "I ken him." I'm like, do you fuck? He goes, "Oh, I ken him. Anyway, next thing, the two of them are at the bar. I get into the company, we're chatting away. "Hello, Mr. McLeish, how you doing?" "Fine, too." And, fast forward 2 hours, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. We're at McLeish's house, which is just down the road. emptying. He says, "I'll get you a glass of champagne." It's like champagne, about 4 or 5 bottles or whatever it was. I've got the guitar out trying to sing. I think it was "Boy Named Sue" by Johnny Cash. Don't ask. And it was like 3 o'clock in the morning, and it was just one of these most random, you could never have planned this kind of night, and you just like you said, you feel you got to say something.
Aye,
When
totally.
you see the manager of your team or whatever, and end up drinking all his bevy in his kitchen. So it was a random and a surreal night with Mr. McLeish, and then he was pals with Dougray Scott, and then Hibs were playing Athens, and we flew out to Greece, and then I was in the same hotel as Alec McLeish, and he says, "Dougray, could you look after Dougray Scott tonight?" Like, aye, okay. And so we ended up, Dougray and I going out wandering about the streets of Athens, and I had dinner with him, a romantic meal for two.
That is
with Dougray Scott.
unbelievable.
We've been buddies ever since. It's football is brilliant for that.
Brilliant.
Meet all these people coming together.
That is amazing.
Brilliant.
Well, Grant, I'm going to need to bring this up.
Oh, I know what you're going to bring up, Bob.
I know.
You have to. I might go for a pee.
Aye, it was possibly the worst day of my life. But describe the feeling of beating us in the Scottish Cup final.
Brilliant.
Oh my God. I know we still got Jordan. Right, anyway.
There is so much I could tell you about the 21st of May 2016. And there's so much.
The floor is yours, Grant. The floor is yours.
The whole row. But the most remarkable thing about that day was on the lead up to it, a few months before, I had been kindly invited onto the launch, a sort of press junket, if you like, of the Royal Caribbean's new ship, right, which is this massive floating shopping centre. It's massive, right? And it was down at Southampton. The guy gets in touch with me and says, "Would you like to come and be our guest? We're just taking a select people from the media out for a wee sort of," because we'd had a couple of cruises before, me and the family. And says, "Yeah, that sounds amazing, man." He says, "The weekend, Friday the 20th of May, Sunday the 22nd. Now, bear in mind, we hadn't even had the semi-final at this point. And I was like, "Oh, that's amazing, that's great." I said to Claire, it's her birthday on May the 21st.
Right.
So I thought, this is perfect timing. I says, "Claire, I'm going to take you away." I says, "But I need to tell you what it is, because you'll need to get time off, because we're going to have to fly down to Southampton on the Friday morning. We're going to go on the ship. We're going to sail out, have a couple of days on board, and then come back to Sunday. Your birthday weekend this year is sorted." "Oh, that's lovely," she says. "That's lovely. I look forward to that." So, fast forward to the semi-final, Dundee United. We beat Dundee United in the semi-final. I'm back at home here, watching the highlights, a couple of glasses of wine, and then so Claire's sitting with me watching it, and then so that finishes the highlights, and we've obviously got through on penalties, and sports scene's there, and so Hibs will play either Rangers or Celtic in the final of the Scottish Cup on the 21st of May. And Claire's sitting and watching, and she went, "That's my birthday." I'm like, yeah. And she goes, Are we not going away for my birthday on a lovely big cruise ship?" And I went, "We were." And it was one of those moments where just kind of dawned on us, went, "Are you binning on a 6-star beautiful cruise ship with me on my birthday to go and watch the Hibs?" Like, so thankfully, Claire and I, we've been together many, many years, and she's a very understanding, wonderful woman. And so she went, that's fine. So anyway, 21st of May, her birthday, I'm up and away at 9 o'clock, away to the match from my dad. We all know what happens. We win. We come back. We're in town. I actually took my dad, again, talking, Chris, about the things that you get your dad to do. I took my dad back to Easter Road with the team and with all the directors, and we were there when the cup was brought back in. Alan Stubbs, again, Dad in his absolute element. So amazing. few drinks. 10 o'clock, I'm like, I better get back to the house. It's Claire's birthday today. I've been out all day. So we get back to the house, and Claire's sitting through the back having a wee glass of Prosecco herself, and I'm saying, "Happy birthday, darling." You'll be happy because Hibs have won the Scottish Cup. I'm like, yes. Can we go watch the highlights? Because it's horrible. and she did. And
tell me this one. How long did it take you to pick the hand and turf out your shoes?
I didn't run on. But I tell you what, I will remember about that moment. And actually, I mean, I can relive every point of that game. But at the point where it was 2-2, 90 minutes, we get the corner. Henderson delivers and David Gray scores, right? We go ballistic. I go absolutely mental, as everybody's done. And then there was that moment where everyone kind of went, what the fuck do we do now? What? This has never happened before. We don't know what to do. We didn't quite know how to take this in. It's like, we might have done this. We might have actually done this. And I looked round, and this goes back to what we were talking about earlier on about my dad. I just looked round to my right-hand side, and there's my dad sitting with his head in his hands, just like that, just taking a moment, right? And I mean, because his dad, my granddad, lived and died, never saw Hibs win the Scottish Cup.
Aye.
And my dad was at a point, he was 70-year-old, and he thought, 76 he was. He says, I'm never going to see Hibs win the Scottish Cup. And he got to that point in his life. And anyway, so here it was happening. And he just obviously took a wee moment, and I quickly got my phone out, and I've just got a picture of him sitting there with his head in his hands. And I think that kind of sums up what that is.
That's put a lump in my throat.
It is, and it still does.
Fucking hell, that's brilliant.
It does. And when the final whistle finally went, I've got a picture of this as well. Everyone's obviously celebrating, and my dad is hugging another gentleman of a similar vintage, let's just say. Didn't know who he was, didn't know, but they had that one thing in common, that they'd got to their 70s and they'd finally seen this day. And it was absolutely mad. And you know what? We could win the Scottish Cup again, you know. Who knows what crazy things can happen. But it will never ever be as
never beat that.
That's
right.
And do you know what? It's funny you say that because about people after that goal in the 90th minute. I actually found myself going down a YouTube wormhole a couple of weeks ago, and I found a video of like the Hibs fan, and he had took a video of the corner and they score and the place erupts, and you can hear folk going, I mean, it's the 91st, the 90th minute, I don't know, and you can hear the fans going, we might win this, and I'm going, of course he's going to fucking win this now, but just everybody was just like, what?
But you know what, even though what you're saying there, Grado, even though it was a 92nd minute and they had scored,
you still don't.
They still didn't think they were going to win it because it had happened so often.
It happened so many times, and there was a foul about a minute or so afterwards that we all thought was a Rangers foul. And I think even still to this day, we don't know how we got it, but anyway, Hibs got the foul because we thought, oh fuck, they've got a foul like on the halfway line. Here it goes. Oh, we're going to throw it away again. They've got it. And then all of a sudden the referee points the other way and was like, it's our fault. It's like, almost won again. It was almost like we'd won it again. And it's a. And you know, Grady, you were talking about looking, you know, going down a YouTube tunnel, which you know a lot of us do. You know, it was just this week that was when you know sort of 5 years since we beat Hearts in the replay. You know, so we've got all these different events that led up to us winning that Scottish Cup, and you know, you can go and watch these clips on YouTube. I will still cry. I will still bubble, and I'll well up when I see a different perspective or I see somebody else's footage of that moment or these goals. It just gets me every single time.
Yeah, what gets me fit is see when the fans start singing Sunshine on Leith after it. I don't care what football team you support.
It's great, isn't it?
It's tremendous.
See when that comes out and you're standing there at the, because we only go for it, you know, in an important cup game now, or if we win a derby or anything like that. I don't think I've ever got through that song without my voice cracking and tears welling up, because it's so powerful. See when you're right in the middle of it all, and even now I'm tingling just thinking about it. And it's one of these things that probably only football can bring and give you.
Totally, mate.
An environment like this, when you're beside so many like-minded people, you might have nothing in common with any of them, but this one thing brings you all together. Doesn't matter your background, doesn't matter what you do for a living, doesn't matter, you know, where you live, what you've done. This one thing brings you together, and that song, Sunshine on Leith, for us unites us all. And when that plays out, it's
It means that something good's happened as well. And
that's what
there's that. It's amazing.
It's magic in it. Remember going to the Fab? It was fucking brilliant, wasn't it?
Aye, remember being able to go to the football? Brilliant.
That's what I was talking about because I don't know if you know Mark Donaldson, but he used to do the sports there, a big Hearts fan. And one of my memories on Facebook came up the other night from that game at Easter Road when we beat Hearts in the replay. And Donkey was there. And he used to be the sports editor at Radio 4th, and he now works for Christ, that's terrible. Over in America, Sports Channel. ESPN. Thank you, sir. He works for ESPN. He'll give me a row for that. And so the photo comes up. And it's basically it was taken of me and him just after the game, and I'm like that. It's like, but that moment was brilliant. Obviously, I was dead happy because we'd just beaten Hearts. But little did we know at that point what was still to come. What was still to happen. The semi-final with Conrad Logan and goals against Dundee United.
That's right.
I mean, what? Aye. You know, it's like it's a Hollywood script. Hibs winning the cup that year is, and I know it's possibly not relevant to you guys. You might not want to watch it, but if you want to watch a good sports documentary, the Hibs DVD, the documentary that Jim Matthews for Sky Sports made, he made a documentary about the whole story about how Hibs won that cup, and it takes you through every game step by step and interviews with the players and everything like that. And
I didn't know about that.
Is that the bald geezer that does Sky News? Yeah. He's like the main reporter,
Jim
isn't he?
Matthews, yeah.
Top dog, isn't he?
He's a big Hibs fan, and so they put him in charge of creating this documentary, and I've seen loads of sports documentaries, and that's right up there. That's up there with the
Grant, I'd maybe watch it, but then just maybe the last. I'd maybe, do you know what I mean? Maybe...
Oh no, you need to see it through.
No. I think I'd maybe just cut it off then. I'd watch up to the semi-final.
I might just fast forward to the end.
Yeah, here, Grant, because it's funny. I love any sort of football documentary. I love the Hearts documentary. But what do you think about Hearts now? What's your feelings? They're in the Championship. Did you watch the documentary?
I did watch the documentary, to be honest, but I'd also watched the Spurs one on Man City.
Yeah, Amazon.
Sunderland one as well, man. They're all good.
And they were brilliant, but so Hearts were on a bit of a hiding to nothing with their documentary because they kind of compete obviously with Amazon and things like that. And it was like it was a gentle watch. Obviously, the Hibs fans wanted to watch it with a bit of that, because it was that year of all years, and it didn't really, I think, give any much more than we'd already known. I think we'd sort of seen and followed the developments ourselves. So yes, the Hearts documentary, a bit of a damp squib. I'm not saying that as from a Hibs point of view, but it was just kind of.
You wanted to see them rolling about the flare with one another, didn't you?
Tears, we wanted blood snotters, we wanted the whole lot.
Did any of you read the paper yesterday? Apparently, Romanov is living in a nuclear submarine. In Russia now, he's like destitute. He's got nothing. All he's got is a submarine, and he's living in a submarine. Do you know what? It's just so Romanov, isn't it?
That's when you want to see a Hearts documentary when he was in charge.
Yes.
That would have been funny because we've had had a few guests on that said was it David Templeton and stuff we had on saying
Romanov stories are superb.
Romanov would turn up and get his translator to scoring goals and start smashing balls into him and all that, hitting shots left, right and centre.
Aye, but whose boots was it he stole? Was it?
Aye, whose boots was it?
He used to steal some.
Was it no Templeton's?
Was it no his boots? I'm sure it was.
I think
Maybe it was.
Was it Templeton's boots?
I used to love when I was doing auctions or things like that, and if I had a signed Hearts strip at that time, I'd go, right, okay, who's going to give me 250 quid for the signed Hearts top? Listen, give me another 500 quid and you can pick the team. I just didn't know what was going to come, and it was interesting times.
Aye, definitely. What do you make of Jack Ross so far then, Grant?
I know it's been an up and down season. I mean, I think massive disappointment, in particular, the two semi-finals at Hampden.
Yes.
There was a lot of attention on Jack Ross after those two games. Obviously, the Hearts one, we could have won it, especially we had the penalty and everything like that. But with the St Johnstone one, we just weren't even at the races. And I think that was what was most disappointing. That was probably what hurt the most out of the two semis. It was probably a bigger, more painful loss when we got beat at St Johnstone. So there was a lot of scrutiny on Jack Ross then, but I like what he's doing. I like what he has done, and it's like everybody else in football. You know, you want results instantly. You want changed. You want things change right now. You want to start winning every single game. You want to beat everyone that's below you. You want to win every cup match. And obviously, as we know, it's not happening. But you can see even in the last transfer window with Chris Cadden coming in and Jackson Irvine.
Yeah, aye.
Interesting signings, and you know what? They've
Definitely
already begun to bed in. And I'm a great believer in let's give them a bit of time. It's only a year and a half since he came on board, so there's time yet.
And there's you've got. I mean, I think the last transfer window, Kevin. There was rumours Kevin Nisbet put in a transfer request and stuff. I mean, that's not easy to deal with. Do you know what I mean? If you get, because he's one of your main men. Him and Dodge are brilliant together. Do you know what I mean? They're really dangerous partnership.
Kevin Nisbet, I think, was one of the. It was interesting because there was a lot of talk about him in Shankland in the first division when he was down there, and I had a good pal of mine who was involved in Dundee United, and he was saying Kevin Nisbet is the better player because Shankland will score goals. Obviously, that's important. That's brilliant, but Kevin Nisbet will give you more at other aspects, and unless you're a team that can afford to have a luxury, but most teams need all players playing their part. Kevin Nisbet is the better option, and I think he is. And I think Kevin's had, unfortunately, his own issues away from the game to contend with, which have been terrible. But I think once he moves on and progresses through that and gets himself back doing what he was doing for us at the start of the season and what he was obviously doing in the past, we have got ourselves a dynamite player there. And I think Jack Ross just needs to manage that. And I think we've all seen it in our clubs when we've got a wee bit of a star player who starts getting a wee bit of attention, and then instantly the money offers start coming in for down south. It's and you're like, oh, too soon, pal, too soon. Honestly, stick. And I know that to treble or quadruple your wages in one go is very tempting. But it's you can go even further if you just stick around for another year and become a much better player.
100%. And what do you think? Where do you think they can? What's the aim for Hibs? Consolidate third place, or do you think you could go one better and even catch Celtic?
Third place is realistic. Aberdeen have hit obviously a bit of a sticky patch at the moment. They're now going through what seems to be quite a big transitional period with a lot of personnel coming and going. Dent McInnes has got to put all that right and sort all that out. The fans up in Aberdeen are not particularly happy with the way things are going. We had our own difficult patch December and early January. We had a couple of sore results, but we've kind of got ourselves back on track, and there's a wee bit of momentum now. There's a tiny wee bit of a gap there. Would we be so bold as to try and catch Celtic? There is no reason why we wouldn't try. But
just get a bash, Grant. Get a bash. Come on.
What's your saying, son? All right.
I tell you, if we finish third this season, that would be seen as a pretty good season and a very successful season. I think every single Hibs fan would absolutely bite your hand off right now for that.
Second's got to be the aim, though. Second. Finish it. Come on.
I always like to look at myself as a realistic football fan. A romantic, yes, but realistic. So third, if I get third, I'll be delighted. Anything more is a bonus.
I say game, son. I say game. Aim for third.
So, Grant, if you get anything coming up, anything exciting coming up you'd like to share with the lads?
Bugger all.
How many radio shows you on? Is it just the one? What are you doing?
I've got Wednesday and Thursday afternoons, which is the culture, the entertainment show.
He's already told us this, Grado.
I know, but I forgot.
But my vinyl on a Friday night, Grado. I get some banging before your time, though.
He's a connoisseur. He's a connoisseur.
I'm an
heavy on the 80s, but some classic 70s, all played on vinyl, and it's been brilliant. This has been my one big positive over lockdown. Has been the reaction to getting out something, and that's all I'm doing. I'm just playing records on the radio again. But
brilliant.
Been great.
That's probably what I should be doing on the radio. Just play the songs, man.
Oh, you were good at the traffic.
I'm good at it. I did the traffic now and again.
But you see,
M8's looking good. M74, you get a good run. M73. Remember, temporary traffic lights in Springburn Road near to the petrol station. Watch if you're in approach that area.
You've got the breakfast show route, Grado. doff my cap, and I take my hat off to anyone that's fucking mad enough to want to do breakfast radio.
Aye, John, are you listening to this fucking
Yes,
guy?
I'm listening.
So John does Bowie's. He's a producer at Bowie's, isn't he?
Yes.
George,
Yes.
an old colleague of mine from back in the day. But yeah,
Hey,
breakfast. Well, George will tell you as well. It's a lifestyle thing, and I've always had too many.
That's what you said, John. That's what you said to me. It's
you don't, and Grado, given everything that you're doing, it's like, how are you going to manage this? Because you got to commit. You've got to commit wholeheartedly to getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning every day, and lockdowns maybe be one thing because there's been nothing else to do. But once the gigs start coming back in and opportunities come in to do Panto and to do.
I share a dressing room with Grado. I am not doing Panto with him when he's doing a breakfast show.
No, I'm going to sort that
Sack
out.
that.
But
no
I
chance.
can't even imagine how hard it is because I get up at the crack of noon.
But I can't wait till things start happening again, so you've got something to fucking talk about. You know what I mean?
Exactly,
I done this, I done that. The fucking I went home and that was it. That's all I done. That's what you did yesterday. Nothing. Apart from podcasts and whatever, but apart from eating and whatever, there's nothing happening. So
hopefully not too much longer trips. Hopefully, but Grant,
there's a light at the end of the tunnel, Bob. So we'll see.
Grant, every week on Football Daft, we put our guests' Scottish football knowledge to the test with a 90-second quiz.
Christ almighty. I can ask Andy Walker when I did Scott Sport. I knew fuck all about football. This is going to be humiliating.
But no. Top of the leaderboard are John Sutton and Chick Young with 15. We've got Mark Wilson and Keith Lasley tucked in behind with 14, while the good doctor Kenny Duker and Kevin Harper and ex-Hibee are just behind in third place with 13. Other selected scores include Jonathan Watson on 9, Ian Murray on 7, Barry Feastender's on 4. At the bottom, it's a tie. So random throwing that in there.
Aye, mate, innit? It's the class.
Hold on, mate. I've dropped someone who's picking up, right? At the bottom, it's a tie between Peter Lovenkrands, Derek Johnson, Craig Levine, and Mixu Patalainen. Is there anybody on that very outrageously random bunch of names that I gave you want to beat?
Mixu Patalainen.
Right.
He's at the bottom. Because he's at the bottom. If I can get off the bottom, I'll be right.
But there's 90 seconds, Grant. You can't pass. You must give an answer, even if you've not got a Scooby-Doo. Just give an answer. Okay, doke.
Okay.
Want to use what to read the questions? Or want me to do it?
I'll do it.
You do it too.
Right.
Righty-ho. John, we get 90 seconds on the clock.
We certainly have.
Yeah, but you can't pass, so if it just...
Just
a matter of...
Just say whatever you want.
Outlander season 4.
There we go.
Aye, correct.
Right, Grant, are you ready?
I am ready.
Your 90 seconds starts now. Who is currently top scorer in the Scottish Premiership?
Kevin Nisbet.
John Fleck plays for which English Premiership side?
Norwich City.
Kemar Roof joined Rangers from which Belgian side?
Antwerp.
Who is Hibs' all-time leading scorer?
I should know this. All-time leading scorer, would that be Joe Baker?
Which team did Callum Hendry move to Aberdeen from?
Callum Hendry to Aberdeen. Motherwell.
John Potter is assistant manager of which Scottish Premiership club?
The mighty Hibernian.
Who is currently 5th in the Premiership?
Livingston.
In what year did Hibs last win the League Cup?
It was 2007.
Name one of the Rangers players in self-isolation.
What was that? Those who were at a party on Saturday?
Yes.
Who was here?
Just name one of them.
Name one of them. It would have to be Shagger.
John McGlynn currently manages which championship side?
John McGlynn. Is it Wraith Rovers?
What team? What is the name of Stenhousemuir Stadium?
Time.
We've asked it, so we can answer.
The Outlander season 4 stadium.
Episodes, any episode numbers?
1 and 2.
Right. Okay.
1 and 2.
Okay, well played, Grant. We'll go through your wrong answers. You got off to a bit of a stinker. Odsonne Edwards, top scorer in the Premiership. John Fleck plays for Sheffield United. Kamaru signed from Anderlecht.
Oh, I got the and bit right.
Hibs all-time leading scorer, Gordon Smith.
Oh, I was going to say Gordon Smith.
Yeah. Callum Hendry moved to Aberdeen from St Johnstone. Then you had a few right, and then Rangers players in self-isolation. You could have had chosen from 5, but no, it was Shagger wasn't there, unfortunately.
I fucking hope he wasn't.
And Stenny's Stadium is Oakle View. However, you're not bottom. You're just above it. You're on 4 points, Grant. Well done.
Brilliant, Grant. Brilliant.
Am I on top of Levine?
You beat Levine, aye.
Did you beat Barry for EastEnders? Is he level with Barry?
Level with Barry.
Level with Barry.
There we go. Level with Barry. Ahead of Mixu, Patalainen and Craig Levine. Brilliant, Grant. Mate, thanks for giving up your time and coming on. Really, really appreciate it, Grant.
I love to have a bit of banter. All we needed was a couple of drinks in front of us and it would have finished.
Oh, tell me about it. I know. Get that beer machine on.
The wee stories about your fair, the final, man. That was brilliant, man. I love that
class.
stuff.
Plus, the next time I do batter into my beer machine, I'm going to go on Amazon or whatever, and I'm going to buy a shitload of microphones. So I'm really looking forward to that.
But remember, buy a pair of mixing decks.
Brilliant, Grant. Thanks very much, mate.
Thanks,
all the
boys.
best, Grant. Thank you so much, mate.
Nice, take care, mate. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
One Hibs. One Hibs.
I tell you what's no fair, right? The fact that Netflix, they hide thousands and thousands of show because of where you live. They've got the nerve to increase the prices on you. Can you believe that? I think it was like $13.99. I checked this. I mean, I remember back in the days it was $6.99 anyway. That's buy. That's right. Starting at the end of this month, though, they're going to be raising their prices again. Now, you could just cancel your subscription and protest, right? That's one of the things you could do. Or you could be smart about it. You can act on it and make sure you're getting the full money's worth by using expressvpn.com like I do. You see, you might not know what's in other Netflix. You might not know what's on other countries. It's completely different for somebody that's in the UK. And if you're in the UK, that's different to what the Japanese Netflixes go on theirs. But by using ExpressVPN, you can control which country you want your Netflix to think that you're in. So there's over 90 countries that ExpressVPN you can choose for. And every time you run out of stuff to watch, just switch to another country. You can go from Belgium to the Czech Republic, and then you can switch it about and see what's up for grabs on every Netflix. See, right now, I am watching new episodes of Lucifer, and I'm not quite 100% sure that's in every country. I don't know if you're getting that in the UK. However, it's definitely shown on the US Netflix. And basically, just with a tap of a button, ExpressVPN, it lets you change your location to the country and batter into it. And here's the best part. It's not just for Netflix. You can use ExpressVPN to unlock shows and other streaming services too. I've used BBC iPlayer. I remember those 8 episodes of River City. I remember being in Tampa, Florida, and using ExpressVPN to watch myself with young Bob there on River City via ExpressVPN, and that's free and only available in the UK, remember. So ExpressVPN is also a super fast process. It works on your phone, your laptop, smart tellies. You can watch your shows on the big screen, and get this, there's zero buffering. It doesn't affect your buffering at all. It's as smooth as your face if they're using Harry's. So be smart. Be smart. Stop paying full price for streaming services and only getting access to a fraction of their contract. Get your money's worth. ExpressVPN.com/staff. Don't forget to use my links so that you can get an extra 3 months for free. Get that out there. Get your notepad and pen out and take this down. It's ExpressVPN. ExpressVPN.com/daft. That's ExpressVPN.com/daft. You're helping the podcast and you're helping yourself introduce yourself to more quality, amazing television.
Right, boys. Well, it has been a pleasure, as always. Never a chore. Good show today. Big Grant boy's a good lad, isn't he?
As I was saying, it's good getting the football players on and we get to know about the loan spells at fucking Brentford and all that. But it's good now and again to get people in Scottish media. It's good and to hear them talk about their love for football. His wee story there about his old dad sitting there greeting because Hibs won. I love stuff like that. I hope the listeners like it and all, because It's a wee bit different. It's different from our usual guests, but I hope folk enjoyed it, man. Because I think we should be doing that more often, getting folk on and just talking football rather than talking about playing football. Jenna.
I agree, mate. I agree. I mean, it's like you say, it's a good wee insight because he's had his finger in a lot of pies, Grant, hasn't he?
And he's been on Outlander season 4, which is apparently available now on DVD. So give that
Episodes 1 and 2.
Grado.
Yes.
Episodes 1 and 2.
I've never seen Outlander. Why are we on Outlander?
No, do you know something? Before we go, right?
Doug's been on Outlander.
I've had 2 auditions, 2 very, very unsuccessful auditions.
You made an answer, man. Come on.
And they said, no, I didn't. See, well, the first one I did, but the second one I went, right.
How would you do? Tell us the story.
I'm going to. Right, so we get there, gets in, learned it. You know what I'm like learning lines, mate. It's pure OCD, pure learned it. Went into the audition, right, said my bit to camera, who represents me, blah, blah, blah. Doing it pure, can't remember the names, right, whatever. Shouting at big Glenn Morgan, I'll do you, blah, blah, blah. Like, blah, blah, blah. Then I'll be like, at the end, I say, the guy that I'm shouting at there, that's Sam's part. He's like, aye. I just looked at the woman and I went, me trying to threaten Sam Hewn. He's 6'5". I just walked out. I've drove all the way through Edinburgh to audition for this. And I'm meant to be shouting at Sam Hewn. No fucking chance. I just fucking went out, told this guy, fucking put it in the bin and the motor up the road, man. Fucking hell, man.
I can imagine how raging you were in that drive home, mate.
Oh, mate, I was like, what's the fucking phoning John, my age? What are you doing?
By the way,
research on this.
It's funny you should say that. I can tell you a bit more audition for Big Brother, but we'll leave that for another time.